Hey everybody, this is Matt from Matt's Fantasy Book Reviews. Today I'm going to be going through and showing you my reading spreadsheet. I keep a crazy detailed spreadsheet of all the books that I've read, all the books I'm going to read, and a bunch of reading stats that go along with it. I have a pretty OCD personality type, and I've mentioned it before on things like Goodreads and my YouTube channel, and I've had people ask me, what do I do to keep track of things? So I'm going to go through and show you the different sheets that are involved here, and admittedly it is way overboard. But thought it'd be cool to show you. So over here on the top left area, like this area right here, these are the physical books that I plan on reading. In yellow is the current book that I'm reading, and blue are books that I currently own. Green are books that I'm holding at the library. Oh, this should be green. And white is books that I have not started renting yet. So you can see the format here. I read almost everything on Overdrive, or I own it already. You can see the date that I'm supposed to order it in order to get it. This one is due. I keep the due date there if I already am renting it from the library. And like here on the Fool's Assassin, that's the next book that I'm going to have to order. I'm supposed to order it on May 30th in order to get it in time. But you'll see, like, if I were to change that date to like yesterday, it would show up in yellow. And that means get that book now. So I read this book, I open the spreadsheet, quickly look for yellow in the mornings to see if I need to order it. You can see the word count over in the E column, the days it will take me to read that book, which is pretty accurate. I take the word count and divide it by the amount of words that I read it per day. And then I get an estimated completion date. And so I can pretty accurately tell which days I'm going to finish books within a day or two. Over in the next set, these are my audiobooks. I'm always listening to an audiobook while I am reading a book because I drive to work. So this is the same exact thing, but for audiobooks. And if you click on a link over here, that takes you to the like the Overdrive or the Hoopla page, which are library sites that I can loan out the book. Over here in the O column, these are the unreleased books that I plan on getting with some status on them. If I got an advanced reader copy, if they're available or not, and kind of separate it out by dates. I just kind of broadly update this every now and then for the books that I'm looking forward to reading that aren't out yet. Over here in the P column, I have the books that are released that I have not got into my spreadsheet yet. I'll slowly add these over when I start depleting my lists. There's a lot more books I want to read than are just listed here. These are just kind of like the next up in released audiobooks that I plan on reading. So moving to a new sheet, this is my master list of the books that I've read. So in yellow, you have the book that I'm actively reading. I'm reading A Time of Dread from the Of Blood and Born series. You can see the year that it's released, the score. Haven't scored it yet because I'm still reading it. The amount of words that I'm reading per day. I just started this today, so it doesn't have a words per day column yet. The cumulative page count that I've read since I've been keeping this spreadsheet, like over the last couple of years, I'm at a little over 100,000 pages. The 2022 page count, and you can see the word count for that book, the page count, the words per page, which is just these two numbers divided by each other. The average pages per day out of an average book. So pages are very different length depending on the book, as you can see. So this is like a good average score. This is a good one that tells me like how high up that book was in my rankings. You'll see that relevant later on. And just some other random stats on, the most pages I read on average, which is probably this one, which is Dawn Shard, 139. Yeah, that's probably definitely the highest I've done on average. Short book, though. Oh, this one, too. Legends and Lattes. Moving over to this sheet, this is a boring one. This is just a sheet that powers other sheets. Yearly stats is a cool one for me. I just randomly keep yearly stats on how much I've read. Read a little over 24,000 pages this year. A bunch of averages. I've got the total average books that I've read this year. So I read a lot of big books this year. So I've read 52 books, but the average book length, that would be more like 87 books. And the average book length that I'll project to read this year is 215, which is quite a lot. And over on the next page, I've got my ranks. I look at this one fairly often. But I manually rank my favorite series over here on the far left. You can see Malazan is my favorite. Books of Babel are my least favorite. Over here are my series scores. So I not only do series, but I do like sub-series too to kind of keep track of things. So you'll see like the yellow is what I'm actively reading right now. But for something like the First Law, you know, I've got the First Law original trilogy right here. I've got the First Law second trilogy right here. And I've probably got First Law, all the books somewhere here. I don't know where. First Law all right here. Because I don't like some of the standalones. And you can kind of see how the scores go. I should make that one double digits. And then you'll see my daily book averages. So the highest I've ever read a book on average was Towers of Midnight by Robert Jordan, 144 pages a day. And the least I've read is Dead House Gates at 50 pages per day. Audio, same deal. Blood Rights is the highest at 102, and then The Blade itself was over at 9. Then you can as we get further, you can see the series averages per day. This one's not scored yet because I'm reading it and messes up the dividing, but Kingskiller Chronicles the highest. It's kind of cheap to do that because it's only 2 books, but whatever. Realm of the Elderlings is the impressive one at 117 for me because there's so many books that I've read. As we go further on, I have the series pages read. Malazan is by far number 1 at 14,700. Series words read, 5.7 million for Malazan. My author scores, John Gwen and Brian Lee Durfee are the only 5 out of 5s. And author pages read, Brandon Sanderson gets number 1 at 11,800, and author words read. And over on these next 2 columns, I keep a book series scores by rank. These are all alphabetical. So you'll see like for Discworld here, which is a very long one, you know, a few 5s, a lot in the middle, a few 2s. And then the last column is by year. So you can see that 1954 is The Lord of the Rings, a gap. And then I think there's at least one book since 1983. But like, for example, like 2009, there was 1-5, The Gathering Storm, and a bunch of other scores. Just kind of a fun little thing to keep track of for me. 2019 looked like a good year, a bunch of 5s. This is just a random sheet that shows the average pages per day from a book. Just kind of generally seeing how much I read on average. It's kind of, you can see it's kind of slowly going up. Same with audio. I've kind of stabilized there a little bit. This is my on-track score. So I try to read 50,000 pages per year. And you'll see that this pink line right here tells me that would be if I'm on track. I'm blue, though, so I'm well above track. And it's projected out that I'll probably be at a little over 65,000 this year, which is great. The next one's a little bit different way to look at that. That's averaging out the on a given day where that it's kind of like the same thing, but a different way to look at it. Like 66,000 is my projected score today. And this, at the beginning, it changes a lot because there's not a lot of averages to build in. And then later on, it gets really narrow. The gaps don't change that much. So I'm sure, I'm relatively sure I'll be somewhere between 66,000 and 67,000 by the end of the year. This is my Goodreads chart, the amount of Goodreads friends that I have. Just randomly kind of keeping track of that. The total read. This is a master sheet that keeps track of how much I read per day. That's from books, goes back to 2020. Audiobooks, big jump when I started doing audiobooks on my commute. I was just doing every now and then here, and then it jumped up big. And then this is total per day. This is one I keep track of. I need to. This isn't super updated, but you'll see like today I've read 55 pages on an average day at 7 p.m., which is right now. I would be at about 102, and then my max would be at 201. And my low ever was 16. So just a little thing that keeps track of things on an hourly basis if I keep things updated, which I haven't today. This is my Goodreads data. This powers the Goodreads chart. My 2021 data. This updates these 2 sheets. So just kind of like a boring page that updates things. This updates a different sheet. And then these last 2 are my individual books. So right now I'm reading The Broken Eye from Lightbringer. And you see a bunch of different stats about Lightbringer. So like today, I haven't updated it today, but if I did, let me show you how that works. I'll see what my how much I've read today already, because I did a little bit of driving. Let me open up my audiobook on my phone. 4 hours and 9 minutes, so 4:09. You'll see this update. So I'm at 38 pages. This is for daily. My total here, that pink line is what my average is. The blue is what I'm at. So I'm doing a little bit better than average. And then hourly, I'm a little bit behind average. And then my physical book, same thing. I have not. Yeah, I've been slacking on reading today, so not a ton. So I'm definitely below average, but I read a bunch at night, so this will pop up. I'll definitely be above that pink line by the end of the day. And then the hourly sheet. So pretty complicated. Do a lot of different stats. And yeah, that's what I'm working with. So hope you enjoyed watching this pretty geeky video, and I'll catch you next time. Thanks for watching.